I would now like to invite Roger to come back and do some closing comments and some takeouts from this afternoon. And as just a quick note before, don't forget we've got the QR code there. If you've got any questions for Tracy, Paul, Joe, anybody else that you've seen here today, or just thoughts that come to mind, something you'd like to know more about, just scan the code, drop us a line, and we'll either set up a meeting, put you in touch with the right people, but we'll carry on the conversation because it's really important. So thank you again to Paul, Tracy, and Joe. And now I'll hand over to Roger. Over to
you. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you, Richard. I've been blown away by this afternoon. I really have. I hope everyone on the webinar has as well. I think what we've heard is just a couple of things. One, it's really reinforced the importance of the subjects that we've been covering this afternoon, and the quality of people. It's just been inspiring to hear. We've talked about big topics there. I'm just going to add one thing to this, and that's that I think when we talk about big topics, it's very easy to think about how far we've got to go and be worried about how far we've got to go. But I just wanted to pick up on one thing that ended up in the chat as just a reminder. We also need to celebrate successes and on the journey that we take. And it was Emily who works with Paul that was put in the chat about her culture shifting to the extent. So she's in a supporter experience team, and she said talking about being in a meeting and ideas coming from people from outside the organization, outside of that team, and that they don't need to be in the room for that to happen. And I think that's just a real indication of success, isn't it? When some of these concepts get the right way, that's when it's really ingrained in the culture of an organization. So yeah, just I really want to add my thanks as well to everyone today. It's been inspiring. It's an indicator of success. That's it, isn't it? That it's really ingrained in the culture that the ideas are coming from different places. I just want to draw today to get to an end, and really sort of draw out three things to finish with. One is I want to set a bit of a challenge for everyone on this call to take away today. The second is I've got a bit of a starting point. If you're thinking, gosh, where do I start? There's an idea. It's not necessarily the right one for you, but it's an idea. And I'm going to finish with an offer to all of you as well. So back to where we started today, that there isn't a single person in your organization who isn't in some way responsible for growing supporter loyalty. No one works in a perfect charity. But what this means is we all have huge amounts of responsibility to make things right. It's incumbent. It sits with us, and this is the summary page that Richard showed earlier of what we summarised today. There, I just want to think about that concept of leadership, and we mentioned that this morning we had a workshop with Chase Index members, and it was great, and we were talking about some of this, and someone made the comment that leadership is different from seniority. We all have a role to play. We can all lead. And actually, we all have a responsibility to be change agents within our organisations. And that's my challenge for you as a starting point here. I'd like to throw out that challenge that everyone on this call can be a change agent in their organisation, that you can be someone that can create change. You can lead. You don't have to have that seniority. You don't have to have a line in your job title. You can lead. And actually, it's incumbent on you and all of us to do that. So please take this away. You be an agent of change for your organization. So that's the starting point of the first of the three sort of things I wanted to just sort of draw to a close here. That challenge for you to think about, actually, yes, I can lead, I can create that change. Okay, what does that change entail? Well, there's a lot of different things coming in, but if we really want to be supporter focused, I'm going to start with the line that Paul almost pretty much finished with here about the supporter insight and bringing the supporter knowledge and insight into the team. I love the phrase that some people have, they call the insight team the voice of the customer team or the voice of the supporter team. I love that because it really is about hearing people's voices and bringing people in. Supporters are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are real people with real issues and real challenges and real needs, desires, real motivations as well. So in terms that as a sort of starting point, that's one of the areas I would be really looking at, and bringing that insight in organization and sharing it within your organization. And I think there's three questions that I would be thinking about asking within that. The first of them is that question why. Again, Paul just mentioned that. Why? Why do your supporters give? Why do they volunteer? Why do they campaign for you? Some of you will be familiar with Simon Sinek, who approaches this from a leadership perspective, and inspiring people is about understanding their motivations. It's if you're not familiar, look him up. YouTube, TED Talks, brilliant, and a brilliant speaker on the subject. But really thinking about the question of why. We need to understand that for our supporters, the unique things that make people support. Why does one person support an environmental charity and another an animal welfare charity and another a humanitarian charity or a children's charity? What are the differences there? And what are the difference within our supporters? And that unique mix that really leads every individual to have different reasons of their personal experience, identity, values, attitudes, things that are important to them, their hopes, their fears, their faith in some cases, really understanding why they support. About loyalty, and those of you who work with us will be very familiar with this. We talk about this as commitment. That commitment, what is it that creates someone commitment to a cause and to a charity? Why do they do that? The second question, I think, is just critically important in all this, that we need to bring into our organisation, bring the understanding of this into our organisation, is what do we need to do? How do we need to communicate with people to make them feel valued? To really, I mean, we talk about donor satisfaction. That's what we refer to it as. But what are the things that really make we need to understand in terms of the actual relationship? Some people want lots of recognition, lots of thanking. Others, perhaps majority, just need a little bit more quiet and know that they're appreciated. Some want information and knowledge. Others want stories and the emotional case studies. Some care about one issue. Some care about different issues. We call this satisfaction. And it's about the way you ask, the way you communicate, the way you build those relationships with people. Don't forget, it's not for you to decide whether or not you're communicating the right way. Your supporters will be the judge of that. And that's when they're really satisfied. And the third one is about the reassurance that they're the right people for you to give your money to, for you to give your support to. We want people to really trust you with their heart and their soul and their money. Of course we do. We want them to really understand the impact that money has and believe that you will behave with integrity when you receive it and do the things that you promise to do. And that's what we call trust. When people really believe that they can give you their money, their time, their voice, and you will do the right thing with it and achieve with it. So those three questions really sit at the heart of what we think any organisation should be doing. It's what we do from a understanding supporters' perspective. Why do they give? How can you communicate? How can you build trust with them? It's about a measurement of it. You need to be doing that. You need to be understanding those things. You need to be measuring where you're doing well and where you're doing less well, so that you can target your programs accordingly. And you need to create plans off the back of it and do something off the back of it. Create that change off the back of it. There's no point in doing research and measurement unless you're committed to making a difference and doing something different off the bat. So 3 things to take away today, please. The first is that challenge. Be the change agent. Be the person that leads the change in your organisation if that's needed. Don't sit back and wait for someone else to do it. Do that. Start to bring some of these ideas to the fore in your charities. The second is the starting point. Bring your supporters and your supporters' voices into your charity. Make sure they're understood. Make sure they're heard. Make sure that people really understand the emotions and the life situations that your supporters have. And the third, we've had this QR code there all afternoon. And yes, it's there if you want to ask any questions of anyone that any of the sessions we've had today. But it's also there if you just want to ask us any questions at all, prompt any questions, or if you want to have a chat about anything. Just love to just have a chat with you. Scan that or go to about-loyalty.com/tell me more, and we'd love to hear from you. So that's really the 3 things I wanted to leave with: that challenge, starting point, that offer, genuine offer for you. Please take us up on that if you want to. And I'm going to put out one very, very quick request for you all, and that's that we're recruiting. We have a constant passion for trying to understand why people do the things they do, and we're looking to increase our capabilities of doing research in that area and for both the sector and for individual clients. And we have an ever-growing pool of data that we just want to get better at diving into and drawing out those nuggets of insight in there, and then reporting on that back. So it's just a final plea. If you know anyone who you think may be interested, or if you are interested, please do give me a call. Details on the screen, or again, use the QR code. So I'm going to finish there. Just a final note on that. Ben, a big thank you for everyone who's spoken today, but I also want to say thank you for you for attending and giving up your afternoon, and hopefully you've got something out of this that will help you build loyalty with your supporters.
Yes, thank you, Roger. And simply to echo Roger's thoughts there and reflections, I'd like to thank Jess Gillam from Macmillan for speaking, Joe Jenkins from Children's Society. I'd like to thank Aisha Sadiq from the EW Group and Shahida Aslam from Helena Kennedy Foundation. And of course, Lucy Richardson and Sarah Dalling from Barnardo's the Legacy Case Study. And finally, Tracy Pritchard and Paul Armadi, who again joined with Joe Jenkins for that panel discussion at the end. So much content. I hope that everybody's written down reams and reams of notes. We had hundreds of people here today. Always such a pleasure to do this for you. We'll be doing the same thing again next year. So let us know. Yeah, scan the QR code. Let us know what you thought of today. Drop us a note. Tell us what you'd like to see next time round. Or if you've got any questions at all about anything, please do get in touch. And finally, of course, a big thank you to Kay and to Roger and all the crew here at About Loyalty. We're so pleased to see everybody here today. Thank you again, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your Thursdays.